Hello everybody. So today I'm gonna show you how to use my AIME generator to make your Canon R5C footage work with Apple Immersive workflow. So let's get started. So you create a new project from scratch, just use the default setting. Then you create two timelines. So this first timeline is for just processing Canon RAW footage, because currently there's a limitation that my ILPD file cannot work with any RAW video. So you have to do this, to first convert your RAW video to ProRes, then import into Davinci again and import in another Apple Immersive timeline. So for this timeline, we can give a name like CRM processing. Okay. The setting here is pretty important. So we want to use 8192 times 4096. And we need to choose none for immersive workflow because this is only for us to process the raw Canon footage. This is also important. You want to choose center crop with no resizing. The output setting, you can use timeline output setting. For the color, I usually am comfortable with this setup, but you can use any setup that works for you the best. So let's create this timeline first. Then let's create another timeline, which is gonna be our Apple Immersive editing timeline. So this timeline, we can call it AI view. So here we want to go for 4320, 4320, immersive video, choose Apple Immersive, and somehow it kind of want to do that. It's alright. Unfortunately, right now there's only 90 to 120 frame rate options, so we're gonna need to do some frame interpolation if we want to use Canon footage. Yeah, make sure you're not using super high resolution because we really don't need that. Color wise, still do the same. Use color managed HDR processing, but output 709. Okay. Then we can import our Canon footage. Now I already got one Canon footage here. Let's first import the Canon footage into our CRM processing timeline. You can see it's already imported, and the color is, because we choose color managed color space, so the color kind of already not lock looking. It's kind of usable. But the thing you notice is that the two eyes are not at the right place. So what we want to do is first we're gonna apply this transform effect. And now we're gonna see where's my right eye. Don't worry. In here, in the advanced options, choose wraparound. Now the right eye is on the right half of the image, and the left is the same. So now we are good. Actually, we are now good for output. In reality, you're probably gonna do your denoise and color grading at this stage, or just some basic color grading. But for our purposes, we're gonna skip this and just go straight to export. For export, I recommend I export ProRes, because we're gonna re-import this footage later, so we want to preserve as much quality as possible. The photo 2 usually should be enough. So let's just like CRM output, yeah, and then we just add render queue and render it. Okay, now the ProRes output is finished. Let's open our AIME generator. I'm gonna make this easier for you guys. So I already created a almost working project file for Canon footage. So all you need to do is just to load this project file, which you can find the download link in GitHub. Let's import this first, then open video. It doesn't matter which one comes first. Basically, you can do it either way. Okay, now we already see that it's already very well aligned. So if you're gonna do this from scratch, I recommend you keep these intrinsic numbers the same for basically any Canon lens, for any Canon footage shot with the Dualfisheye 5.2mm lens. All you need to adjust is this part. So these can be different for each camera. Let me show you a little bit of tip. I recommend to do it in the overlay 50% stage. And if you drag without clicking anything, you will see one eye's image kind of moved. But if you click Shift and then drag the image, you can see two eyes move together. So the way it works is you first drag one eye to make the alignment. Let's make it like a rough alignment here. And then you want to zoom out. Then you can see if my image is actually at the center. Let's get rid of this mask for now. So you can clearly see like how your two eyes is centered. So you want the two eye aligned and they both centered. This is probably pretty good. I'll just load the project again because this project setting is already pretty optimal. Anyway, so let's keep this setting just as it is. I recommend here you use the custom mask setting because somehow the other two settings gonna have some bug with the latest Davinci. So just use the custom and keep the default setting. So after that, there's right now a new development about the Davinci Resolve 21. It seems it no longer recognizes the injected ILPD in ProRes encoded file. So what you need to do is to export this ILPD file separately. So you just choose a location and click Save. You don't need to worry about the name. It's gonna be a different name. So you see now we created this ILPD file, which is Apple's lens profile file. Now what you need to do is you open your project settings. Then you go to Apple Immersive. You want to click Open Calibration folder. Then you copy this newly created ILPD into this folder. Then update list, you're gonna see this already appear in the list. Cancel it. Then go to our AI view timeline. Let's now import the ProRes footage back into Davinci. You see it doesn't look quite right, but it's alright. Let's go right click on the footage, clip attributes, then choose side by side fisheye. And the next step would be assign this calibration to this footage. You do this, select the ILPD we just created. You didn't see anything seem to change, but when you switch to the immersive viewing mode, yeah, you're gonna see everything is actually working. You need to turn on this 3D view to really see the effect. Immersive, then viewport. Yep, there it is. It's actually working pretty well. So right now, everything just works as if you are using a Cine Immersive camera. Right now, you can do several things actually. There are several pretty cool things. First of all, you can add title like super easy. You don't need to worry about, oh, how do I make sure it looks right in the VR space, you don't need to worry about that. It's already being taken care of. See, I just added this title here. See, it's already working very well. You can see how it looks you can see how it's gonna look in VR. You can also, there's a very important setting, is the convergence. This is about like how this text or title is close to you. So if the positive number will make the text closer to you. How to check it? You can actually view it in Vision Pro. Right now I haven't got a headset connected, but it will work in Vision Pro, and you can live preview everything you are doing here. So before we go to export, there's one more setting that you might want to change. So right now our footage is actually 60p. So we could be using some optical flow to interpolate it to 90p. It's gonna look much smoother that way. So let's enable that by going this retime process, change it to optical flow. Then we can just go and try for an output. For output setting, we can just use this Vision Pro review, and we can almost keep all the default settings here. And yeah, we can give it this kind of name and add to render queue. Yeah, then we just click render. Yeah, it will start to work. Alright, that's it. So that's how you make your Canon footage works just like an Cine Immersive footage in Davinci Resolve immersive video workflow. Thank you guys. See you in the next one.